Hello friends, Rishi Kumar here. Today, we're diving into a powerful question. What if reality isn't what it seems? In this video, we're going to bridge the gap between cutting-edge quantum physics and ancient spiritual wisdom to reveal a fundamental truth, that your consciousness is not just in the universe, but the universe is in you. You'll discover how your thoughts and beliefs don't just reflect reality, but literally create it. We'll explore how the physical world you experience is mostly empty space and energy. This insight can transform your life from one of a passive observer to an active conscious co-creator. And if you're ready to go deeper to truly understand the science behind manifesting your best life, be sure to check out our companion 10-part video learning course. It's completely free and can be accessed from the link in the description box below this video. Let's get started with Chapter 1. What if reality isn't what it seems? We have all been taught that reality is fixed, external, and objectively out there. But what if we've misunderstood it all along? What if reality is, in part, a mirror of our own inner state, responding not just to our actions but to our intentions, our thoughts, and our beliefs? This question lies at the heart of a revolution taking place not in the realm of science fiction, but in cutting-edge science and spiritual understanding. From quantum physicists to mystics, thinkers are increasingly proposing that what we perceive as reality is more malleable and interconnected than our five senses would have us believe. The dominant view of the physical world has long been based on separation. Objects are distinct, individuals are isolated, and the world operates independently of our observation. This Newtonian worldview gave us tremendous technological advances, but it also left us with a disconnected picture of ourselves. Tiny, insignificant specks in a vast, impersonal universe. But that view is beginning to unravel. Quantum physics tells us that subatomic particles don't seem to exist in definite places until they're observed. The famous double-slit experiment shows that light behaves like a wave or a particle, depending on whether it is being measured. That means consciousness, in some way, plays a role in determining the nature of reality. As theoretical physicist John Wheeler once said, "We are not simply observers, we are participators." This suggests the universe is not a cold machine, but something more interactive, responsive even. Thoughts and the fabric of matter. Even more radically, there is growing evidence that our thoughts might influence not just our emotions or choices, but the very fabric of what we experience. This isn't just metaphorical. Consider the placebo effect, where belief in a sugar pill's power is enough to activate the body's own healing mechanisms. Or Dr. Masaru Emoto's experiments showing how human intention appears to alter the structure of water crystals. And then there's the Global Consciousness Project at Princeton, which found that during major world events, like 9/11, random number generators around the world shifted in measurable ways, as though human emotion or awareness could influence machines. This challenges the assumption that consciousness is passive, a side effect of brain activity, and instead suggests it may be primary. You are not just in the universe is in you. Spiritual traditions have long said this. Seth, channeled by Jane Roberts, emphasized, "You create your own reality." Kryon, through Lee Carroll, teaches that consciousness is the most powerful force on the planet. Esther Hicks, speaking for Abraham, speaks of alignment with your inner being as the key to shaping your experience. These teachings are not abstract philosophy. They are practical guides to living in a world where your thoughts matter, quite literally. What you believe influences what you perceive, and ultimately, what you experience. If this is true, then the key to transforming your life isn't out there in the external world. It's in how you view the world, yourself, and your relationship to it. As above, so below. As within, so without. And that changes everything. Chapter 2. Space, Time, and the Holographic Illusion. Have you ever felt like there was more going on behind the scenes of your life than meets the eye? That time sometimes bends, stretches, or even pauses. Or that everything is somehow connected, even across distances. These are not just mystical experiences. They point to a deeper truth about the nature of space and time, the illusion of solidity. Let's start with what seems obvious. The physical world feels solid. You touch a table, and it feels real. But science tells a different story. At the atomic level, matter is mostly empty space. If the nucleus of an atom were the size of a pea, the nearest electron would be hundreds of meters away. What we experience as solid is really energy fields interacting. And those fields, they aren't stationary. They're in constant motion, vibrating, pulsing, shifting. This energy is not just in things, it is things. Even more intriguing, that energy is influenced by observation, suggesting consciousness plays a part in shaping what appears real. The holographic universe. Physicist David Bohm proposed something extraordinary, that the universe might be like a hologram. In a hologram, every piece contains the whole image, just at a lower resolution. Similarly, Bohm believed that what we see as separate and local might actually be projections from a deeper, more connected reality. This aligns with spiritual teachings that claim all is one. In Seth's words, each portion of the universe contains the whole. Kryon adds, you exist in multiple realities at once, but you are focused here, now, for a reason. If the universe is holographic, then every person, every event, and every moment might be interconnected on a level we cannot yet measure, but can feel. Intuition, synchronicity, and déjà vu could be glimpses of this deeper order. Time isn't what you think. Einstein revolutionized our understanding of time by showing that it's relative. Time moves differently, depending on speed and gravity. But some theories go even further. The block universe model suggests that past, present, and future all coexist. To our linear minds, this sounds bizarre, but it opens up the idea that your future may already exist, waiting for you to align with it. Abraham Hicks often says, everything you want is already created in vibrational form. It's not about striving to get somewhere. It's about tuning in to what's already there. This makes time more like a landscape than a river. You can walk through different parts of it based on your frequency, your state of being. You are the observer and the creator. All of this leads to one powerful conclusion. You're not just a passenger in the universe. You're part of the mechanism that determines what you see, feel, and experience. If space and time are illusions, tools for experience rather than limits, you are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. We are now beginning Chapter 3. The Power of Thought and Belief. What if the thoughts you think don't just reflect reality, but create it? What if your beliefs are like lenses, shaping not just your perception of the world, but the very world you live in? This idea is not just found in ancient spiritual teachings. It's echoed in cutting-edge science. Consciousness appears to have a measurable effect on reality. Your inner world and outer world are not separate. They're deeply intertwined. The science behind thought as energy. Thoughts are not wispy nothings. They're measurable electromagnetic signals produced by your brain. Every thought carries a frequency, and, like tuning forks, frequencies interact. What you send out attracts matching vibrations. This is the essence of the law of attraction, and it's more than just wishful thinking. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research shows how focused thought can create measurable changes in the brain and body. Brain scans of people in meditative states reveal profound shifts in activity, chemistry, and even immune response. When you believe something strongly enough, it can change your body's biology. This is the placebo effect in action, a testament to how beliefs override objective conditions. The lens of belief. Seth, through Jane Roberts, famously said, "You create your own reality." That statement is both liberating and terrifying. It means the power lies within you, but it also means you must take responsibility. Your beliefs are not fixed. They are assumptions you've absorbed from experience, culture, and conditioning. Once formed, they act as filters, confirming themselves again and again. If you believe life is hard, you'll find proof. If you believe you're lucky, that too becomes your reality. The key is becoming aware of your beliefs. Once you see them clearly, you can challenge and change them. This is reprogramming the subconscious, not by force, but by intention and awareness. Thoughts, emotions, and reality. Emotions give energy to thoughts. A passing thought is like a spark, but when it's fueled by emotion, it becomes a flame. This is why fear and joy both manifest quickly. They're charged. Kryon teaches that your emotional field communicates with the quantum field around you. It's not just your words or your visualizations that shape reality, it's the feeling behind them. Gratitude, love, excitement, these are powerful frequencies that magnetize experiences. Abraham Hicks often says, "You can't think your way to a better life. You have to feel your way there." This is about vibration, not just logic. Daily creation in action. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you're sending out energetic signals. These signals return as experiences, people, and opportunities. So what are you broadcasting? Are you aligned with abundance, peace, curiosity, or fear, lack, and frustration? Mindfulness is the gateway. When you notice your thoughts, you can shift them. You can choose again. You can rewrite the script. You are the author of your reality, not just a character within it. Let's begin Chapter 4, The Illusion of Death. We've been taught to see death as the ultimate end, a curtain drop, a final goodbye. But what if death isn't an ending at all? What if it's more like a door, or better yet, a change of clothes? Across cultures, near-death experiences, spiritual teachings, and now even quantum physics are hinting at the same thing. Consciousness does not die with the body. Consciousness beyond the brain. Modern neuroscience struggles with the hard problem of consciousness, how subjective awareness arises from physical matter. Some researchers are now questioning whether it does. What if the brain is not a generator of consciousness, but a receiver? This model suggests that consciousness exists beyond the body. The death of the physical body, then, does not mean the end of you. It's more like switching off the radio. The music still exists, even if the device no longer plays it. Dr. Pim van Lommel, a Dutch cardiologist, studied patients who were clinically dead, yet reported vivid experiences, floating above their bodies, meeting deceased loved ones, entering realms of peace and light. These were not hallucinations. They occurred while brain activity had flatlined. Reincarnation and soul continuity. If consciousness survives death, could it return? That's the basis of reincarnation, a concept found in Eastern traditions for millennia and now studied in the West. Dr. Ian Stevenson and Dr. Jim Tucker documented thousands of cases of children recalling past lives with verifiable details. These aren't vague impressions. In many cases, children accurately named people, places, and events they couldn't possibly know. These stories suggest the soul, or higher self, continues its journey across lifetimes, learning, evolving, and choosing experiences for growth. Kryon refers to this as the Akash, a record of all your soul's incarnations, accessible and influential in your current life. You carry the wisdom of lifetimes within you, whether you remember it or not. A shift in perspective. Abraham Hicks says, "There is no death, only a changing of focus." From this perspective, death is not to be feared. It's a re-entry into pure, non-physical consciousness, a return to source, a reunion with the broader part of who you are. Those who've had near-death experiences often return with this message. Don't be afraid. You are loved beyond measure. Life continues, living with death in mind. Ironically, when you stop fearing death, you begin to truly live. The urgency of life lifts. You act with more love, more presence, more courage. You realize you are eternal. And from that knowing, you create a more meaningful life now. Death is not the enemy. It's a transition, a shift in awareness. Your story doesn't end. It simply changes chapters. I truly hope you're gaining profound insight from this journey. To ensure you don't miss any part of this exploration, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. To truly enhance your understanding of this topic, be sure to check the description box below this video. We've compiled numerous links and free resources there, including our deep dive 10-part learning series, Spirit in a Lab Coat. Now, let's continue with Chapter 5. This chapter delves into the source of all being, science, spirituality, and the Kryon teachings. What is the source of all life? Where does consciousness originate? And can science and spirituality agree on the origin of everything? At the heart of this chapter is the understanding that the universe is not simply a collection of random particles or chaotic forces. Instead, it appears to be imbued with intelligence, a unifying, creative field that permeates all things. This concept, echoed in ancient wisdom and modern quantum physics alike, suggests that consciousness is not a byproduct of the brain, but a fundamental aspect of the universe itself. Then there's the quantum field and the unified source. Modern physics points to the existence of a unified field, a vast energetic field from which all matter arises. The late physicist David Bohm referred to it as the implicate order, a deeper level of reality that organizes and gives rise to the world we perceive. According to Bohm, everything is enfolded within this deeper dimension, and then unfolded into the space-time we experience. The Kryon teachings describe this field as a benevolent, intelligent source, what many would call God, Spirit, all that is, or universal consciousness. Kryon refers to it as a multidimensional presence of divine love and intelligence, always available to us when we tune in. The Seth material, Jane Roberts, supports this as well, explaining that consciousness is the building block of all reality. Matter is simply a slowed down vibration of consciousness, focused energy that has been congealed into physical form through attention and intent. What about the role of belief and perception? Abraham Esther Hicks teaches that we are extensions of source energy. Our beliefs shape how this energy flows through us and around us. When we align with source through joy, gratitude, presence, and belief, we become conduits for health, abundance, and creativity. Quantum experiments such as the double-slit experiment confirm that observation affects outcome. The observer collapses the wave function into a particle, essentially choosing one reality among many. This supports the idea that reality is not fixed, but fluid and participatory. When we become conscious of our thoughts and beliefs, we begin to consciously shape our reality, not just passively experience it. Let's consider the spiritual science of wholeness. Both Kryon and modern spiritual teachers emphasize that science and spirituality are not opposites. They are two languages describing the same truth. Kryon often says, "Eventually science will prove God." This does not refer to a religious deity, but to a field of intelligence that is loving, compassionate, and inclusive. This source is not separate from us. As Kryon says, "You are a piece of God walking the earth." The implications of this are profound. If true, then illness, limitation, and suffering are not punishments, but misalignments with our true nature. Healing becomes a process of returning to alignment with Source. So here's a look at our practical alignment with Source. How do we align with the Source? There is no single formula, but several consistent practices emerge. Meditation, slowing the mind, quiets the noise and reveals the underlying field of awareness. Gratitude, appreciation, tunes us to higher frequencies, allowing more flow from Source. Intentional living, choosing joy, compassion, and authenticity, invites the energy of Source into our daily lives. Awareness, noticing our thoughts and feelings, helps us shift from reaction to creation. Here's our final thought on Chapter 5 about the human condition. You are not a disconnected being tossed about by a random universe. You are an emanation of the creative force itself. The more you understand this, the more you begin to live from that truth. And in doing so, you begin to heal not just your body, but your entire life. We're now on to Chapter 6, the illusion of time. Let's begin by asking, is time real? Or is it a convenient illusion? An agreement we make to experience reality in a linear fashion. We wake up, we eat, we work, we age. Everything seems to unfold in a tidy sequence of past, present, and future. But what if that sense of progression is not a feature of reality itself, but rather of how our brains interpret it? This brings us to the insights of Einstein and the block universe. Albert Einstein famously said, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time is not a constant flow, but a dimension similar to space. In this view, called the block universe or eternalism, all points in time exist simultaneously. Just as all locations in space exist at once, so too do all moments in time. From this perspective, your birth, your last vacation, and a future yet to happen are all part of a single, timeless whole. You move through time not because it flows, but because your consciousness reads time one moment at a time, like a stylus moving across a record. Our next clue comes from quantum physics and timelessness. Quantum physics offers further clues, showing that particles can become entangled across time, influencing one another even when one exists in the past and the other in the future. This suggests that linear time might be more of a perceptual framework than a fundamental property of the universe. Physicist Julian Barber argues that time does not exist at all, that it is an illusion created by change. In his theory, each moment exists as its own complete, self-contained universe. What we call motion or sequence is just our mind connecting these snapshots into a storyline. These scientific ideas are strongly echoed by spiritual views on time. The teachings of Kryon, for instance, describe time as a flexible, multidimensional phenomenon. Kryon tells us that humans live in a 3D perception of time, but that higher dimensions experience time very differently, or not at all. In higher states of consciousness, all time is accessible now. Abraham, Esther Hicks, teaches that we create our future in the present moment. The vibration you offer now becomes the blueprint of the life experience you're about to walk into. In this sense, the future is not fixed. It's being written right now. Seth, via Jane Roberts, also emphasized that all time is simultaneous and that our higher self exists outside of time. According to Seth, reincarnational lives are not past and future lives, but parallel lives experienced simultaneously in a multidimensional self. The most accessible proof of time's flexibility is found through mindfulness and flow states. When we are fully present, time seems to slow down or even disappear. This is most noticeable in flow states, where we become so absorbed in an activity that we lose track of time entirely. Meditation, art, love, and even danger can all trigger this timeless awareness. From a practical standpoint, this suggests that our experience of time is largely dependent on attention and presence. The more fully present we are, the less time rules us. Now let's explore shifting time perception. As consciousness evolves, so too does our experience of time. Many people report that time seems to be accelerating. The days, months, and even years are passing more quickly than before. While clocks still tick at the same rate, our perception is what's shifting. Kryon suggests this is due to a rise in global consciousness, an evolutionary leap that's changing how we interface with space and time. For a final thought on this matter, time may not be the master we once believed it to be. Instead, it may be a tool, a creative framework within which we explore, grow, and evolve. And as we awaken to our multidimensional nature, we may begin to step outside of time altogether, living more fully in the eternal now. Chapter 7. The True Nature of Dreams. Every night, we enter a world as real and vivid as waking life, yet governed by different rules. We fly without wings, meet departed loved ones, visit strange dimensions, and sometimes receive knowledge beyond our comprehension. But what are dreams really, and why do we have them? We start our investigation by looking at dreams as a gateway to the subconscious. Mainstream psychology sees dreams as a reflection of the subconscious mind. Freud viewed them as wish fulfillments rooted in repressed desires, while Jung believed they were communications from the collective unconscious, rich with symbols and archetypes. In this view, dreams are your inner mind speaking in metaphors, processing, resolving, and integrating the emotions and events of your waking life. But this perspective, while useful, may only scratch the surface. This naturally leads us to explore lucid dreaming and astral travel. Lucid dreaming, becoming aware that you're dreaming while still in the dream, suggests that we are capable of conscious navigation through these nocturnal experiences. Studies have shown that lucid dreamers can control aspects of the dream environment, interact with characters, and even perform tasks that translate to waking life skill improvement. Some lucid dreamers report experiences indistinguishable from what spiritual traditions describe as astral projection, where the consciousness temporarily leaves the body to explore other realms. In this expanded view, the dream world is not a fantasy, but a different dimension of existence. The channeled Seth material gives us a powerful view of dreams as real experiences. According to Seth, via Jane Roberts, our dreams are not imaginary. They are real experiences occurring in other layers of reality. Seth taught that we are multidimensional beings, and that our dream self is just as real as our waking self, simply operating in a different frequency range. He claimed we visit other lifetimes, receive guidance from higher aspects of ourselves, and even help others during sleep. Seth also explained that we practice future events in dreams, preparing ourselves emotionally and energetically before they unfold in waking life. Moving to another key voice, let's look at Abraham and vibrational dreaming. Abraham, Esther Hicks, teaches that your dreams reflect your vibration. If you're in a state of fear, your dreams will mirror that fear. If you're aligned, your dreams become joyful, prophetic, or insightful. In this view, dreams are a kind of vibrational barometer. They show you where you stand emotionally and energetically. This idea becomes even more compelling when we look at dreams as portals to the quantum mind. Quantum physics tells us that subatomic particles exist in multiple states at once until observed, a quantum superposition. When we dream, our waking, linear mind is temporarily deactivated, potentially allowing the subconscious to access this quantum level where time is nonlinear. This is why people report meeting deceased loved ones, or why symbolic knowledge seems to download into awareness during sleep. Let's conclude our spiritual overview by reviewing some spiritual teachings on dream purpose. Kryon teaches that dreams are not accidental. They are crafted in part by your soul and guides, giving you healing, teaching, and insight. In many indigenous traditions, dreams are taken seriously as sources of prophecy and divine wisdom. Whether you're receiving a message from your higher self or experiencing a parallel life, dreams offer a bridge to the deeper self that is always awake, even when your physical body rests. So, how do we engage with this powerful resource? Let's look at how to work with dreams. First, keep a dream journal. The simple act of writing your dreams down helps strengthen your recall and builds a bridge between waking and dreaming consciousness. Second, ask questions before sleep. Direct your subconscious by setting an intention before bed. Show me what I need to know, or help me understand this decision. Third, notice recurring symbols. These often point to deeper aspects of your psyche or repeating life themes. And finally, practice mindfulness. Awareness during the day increases awareness during sleep. Our final thought is this: what if your dreams are just as important as your waking life? Maybe even more so. What if the boundaries between the two are dissolving as we awaken to who and what we really are? Dreams may not be fantasy. They may be messages from the soul, reminding us that there is more to reality than what we see, and more to ourselves than we've ever been told. On to Chapter 8. Are world events an illusion? We tend to think of world events as hard facts, unchangeable, objective, and driven by forces outside of ourselves. Wars, political upheaval, pandemics, economic booms and collapses. These seem to arrive on the stage of life independently of our personal choices. But what if this assumption is fundamentally flawed? What if world events are not entirely external, but instead a collective reflection of human consciousness itself? This idea challenges everything we've been taught, yet it's not new. Visionaries from both scientific and spiritual traditions have proposed that reality, including shared global events, is shaped not just by external circumstances, but by internal states of mind, belief, and expectation. In quantum physics, the observer effect shows that the act of observation influences the outcome of an experiment. While this has been observed on the subatomic scale, some researchers suggest that consciousness may play a more significant role in shaping reality than previously acknowledged. If particles can behave differently when observed, could human attention and emotion shape world events on a collective scale? Enter the Global Consciousness Project, GCP, a scientific initiative that tracks the output of random number generators RNGs placed around the world. Under normal conditions, these RNGs produce unpredictable sequences. However, during moments of global focus, such as natural disasters, terrorist attacks, or major celebrations, their output significantly deviates from randomness. The implication is stunning. Global consciousness appears to measurably affect physical systems. This mirrors what Kryon, channeled by Lee Carroll, teaches: that humans are not simply reacting to world events, but are co-creators of them. Kryon refers to a quantum field that responds to coherent intent and emotion. When enough people focus on fear, division, or love and unity, the field shifts and the outer world follows. Similarly, Abraham, as channeled by Esther Hicks, speaks of the law of attraction as applying not just to individual lives, but to mass consciousness. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not, Abraham says. Collective focus on lack, threat, or control can magnetize circumstances that reflect those inner frequencies. From a psychological standpoint, Carl Jung's idea of the collective unconscious also supports this. According to Jung, humanity shares a pool of unconscious archetypes and energies that give rise to myths, movements, and mass behaviors. When certain archetypes dominate, such as the victim, the tyrant, the savior, they manifest as cultural and political realities. The Seth material likewise asserts that we create our individual and shared realities through belief and expectation. You form your reality individually and en masse, Seth teaches. This doesn't mean victims are to blame, or that we can snap our fingers and stop a war. But it does mean that by understanding the creative power of consciousness, we begin to reclaim agency in how we respond to and even shape the events around us. This leads to a radical but empowering conclusion. World events may be real, but not necessarily objective. They are deeply entangled with the beliefs, expectations, and emotional patterns of humanity. The world we see is, in part, a mirror of our inner state. So, are world events an illusion? Perhaps not in the sense of being fictional, but in the deeper sense that they are reflections, not absolutes. They are not imposed upon us by an external authority, but arise from the invisible currents of the collective psyche. When we shift the collective story, even one person at a time, we begin to shift the unfolding of events on a planetary scale. We're now on to Chapter 9. You are the creator. From the moment we're born, we're taught to see the world as something that happens to us. We're given a name, a history, a culture, a family, and a set of expectations. We are shaped by external circumstances: parents, schools, governments, and institutions. Yet beneath that inherited identity lies a truth so radical and empowering that it has been buried, resisted, or dismissed by much of mainstream society. You are not just a product of the world. You are its co-creator. The proposition that you create your own reality isn't just a spiritual slogan. It's a principle echoed across ancient wisdom, modern metaphysics, and even cutting-edge science. The teachings of Seth, channeled by Jane Roberts, assert that you create your own reality, there is no other rule. This isn't metaphorical. According to Seth, your beliefs, emotions, expectations, and focus generate the events and circumstances of your life and contribute to collective experience. Modern physics doesn't contradict this. Quantum theory shows us that reality isn't a fixed stage on which we act, but a dynamic field of potential, where particles exist in probabilities until observed. The observer effect reveals that consciousness plays a role in the unfolding of matter. The double-slit experiment, one of the most replicated in history, shows that particles behave differently when observed, suggesting that the universe itself responds to awareness. But this awareness isn't limited to scientists in labs. You, right now, are observing, interpreting, and interacting with a personal and collective universe. Your thoughts are not inert. They are frequencies. Your emotions are not private. They are energetic signals. Together, they form a vibrational blueprint that aligns you with experiences that match your inner state. In Kryon's teachings, the idea of "you are more powerful than you think" is central. Kryon explains that humans are divine beings temporarily inhabiting biological forms. Your consciousness exists within a quantum field that responds to intent, coherence, and love. This is not just positive thinking. It is an activation of latent spiritual physics. Abraham, as channeled by Esther Hicks, emphasizes the role of deliberate focus and emotion in creating reality. The law of attraction states that which is like unto itself is drawn. You cannot create a joyful experience while vibrating in despair. You must become the vibration of what you desire before it can manifest. You might ask, if I am the creator, why would I create pain, limitation, or chaos? The answer is nuanced. Much of your creation is unconscious, driven by inherited beliefs, suppressed emotions, collective fears, and cultural programming. These form a kind of autopilot reality. Until they are brought into awareness, you cannot consciously choose differently. But awareness changes everything. Once you see your thoughts as creative, your emotions as navigational, and your beliefs as generative, you are no longer at the mercy of external conditions. You begin to sculpt reality intentionally. This doesn't mean you control everything. It means you influence everything. You are not omnipotent, but you are a powerful node in the fabric of existence. Your shift in consciousness affects not only your own life, but ripples through the collective. To say you are the creator is not to inflate the ego, but to awaken the soul. It is to remember that you are both the artist and the canvas, the dreamer and the dream. Reality is not happening to you. It is happening through you. And as you reclaim this truth, you begin to move from reaction to creation, from fear to inspiration, from limitation to possibility. The universe becomes not a prison, but a playground, a living mirror reflecting your deepest assumptions, your wildest hopes, and your most daring beliefs. So the question is no longer, what is reality? But, what will I choose to create now? We're now concluding our video with Chapter 10, Living the Quantum Life. As we arrive at the final chapter, we move from understanding to integration. The ideas we've explored, the holographic mind, quantum consciousness, time as a dimension, and your role as a creator, are not meant to remain as intellectual curiosities. They are an invitation to live differently. To live quantumly is to live with awareness, fluidity, responsibility, and deep connection to the unseen forces that shape your reality. What does it mean to live a quantum life? First, it means knowing that you are never separate. Not from others, not from the world, not from the source. Entanglement is not just a phenomenon of subatomic particles. It's a metaphor for consciousness. When you think of someone and they call, when you feel guided to avoid a certain street and learn there was an accident, when synchronicities pile up, these are signs of a reality responding to you. Living quantumly means embracing uncertainty. In classical thinking, uncertainty is a problem to solve. In quantum living, uncertainty is a portal. It allows for creativity, surprise, emergence, and possibility. Just as a particle can exist in multiple states until observed, you too hold multiple potentials. Your choice, your attention, your vibration determines which reality crystallizes. It also means embodying responsibility without guilt. You are not to blame for everything that happens, but you are empowered to respond. Every moment is a chance to choose again, to shift a thought, reframe a belief, or tune into a different emotional frequency. The quantum field responds not to your wishes, but to your coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align, the field reflects that alignment back to you. To live this way, you must become intimate with your own consciousness. Meditation is one tool, not for escaping the world, but for entering it more fully. Mindfulness, visualization, intentional breath, heart coherence, these are not merely wellness techniques, they are technologies for tuning your signal. Kryon speaks of a coming age where human consciousness merges with multidimensional awareness. Abraham teaches that alignment with your inner being is the shortcut to everything you desire. Seth says that your point of power is in the present moment, because it is here and only here that creation occurs. You don't need to master quantum physics to live quantum principles. You only need to recognize that reality is far more flexible than you were taught, that time is not fixed, that consciousness is not confined to your skull, that matter responds to mind, and that love is not a sentiment, it is a frequency that reshapes the very fabric of existence. So, live with curiosity. Speak as if your words shape worlds, because they do. Feel your way forward. Let go of needing proof before choosing joy. Trust the unseen. The universe is listening, not as a judge, but as a collaborator. In the end, spirit in a lab coat has not asked you to believe in anything. It has invited you to remember. Remember that the cosmos is not separate from you. That your inner landscape is reflected in the outer world. That you are not a passive observer of a predetermined script. You are the scriptwriter, director, and actor. May you live as the quantum artist you were born to be. That's the conclusion of our video. I hope this video has sparked new clarity in your understanding. The journey of spirit in a lab coat is just beginning. If you found value here, please like and share this video. Your support ensures we can bring you more content like this. Don't forget to access the comprehensive links and free resources in the description box. And be sure to subscribe so you never miss an update in this series. Your true path awaits your decision, not external permission. Step fully into your power, trust the unseen, and live as the quantum artist you were born to be.